Hey guys, in this video we're gonna go over Armageddon from HackTheBox. So we're going to start with an mmap scan. Let's see. We can see what we're going to check what ports that is opening and what service that's running on the server. Okay, I'm not connected to the VPN. Okay, there you go. Yep, I wasn't connected to the VPN, so what's going on? Let's try it again. There we go. Now we're connected to the VPN and let's run the scan again. Okay, so now we're scanning the system so we can see what ports that are open and what service that are running. Most of the time they are running web server. Yep, there we go. We can see port SSH is open on 22 and then we got a web server running on port 80. So let's visit the website on port 80 and see what's running. Okay, so we have a login page, but it doesn't tell us what the CMS that's running. So one way we can check to see what CMS that's running, we can go to the page source, and then we can see here content. We can see that's running Drupal 7. So this is running an instance of Drupal 7. So that is the login page of the website, and we don't have any credentials. One of the thing whenever I'm doing whenever I face a web application, one of the thing I do is I will look for exploit. So in that case, let's search for. We know that's one in Drupal 7. So let's search for Drupal 7 exploit. Okay. There's a couple actually. What is this one? Let's go on GitHub. Let's see what we have on GitHub. Okay. All right. So one of the thing I should tell you guys, whenever you're downloading a script of a page, or one of the thing we mostly check, we have to check to see what is running, what it is doing, because we don't want to run some type of malware. We don't want to download the malware and run it on our system. And another thing is the most popular ones usually I will look at the stores, how many stores they got. But in that case, we're just gonna go and download this one. So I had it downloaded earlier. Let's copy it. We're going to copy it to this folder. Oh, that by and copy it to this. There we go. So now we have it here. One of the things we can do is we're going to smart it so that we can, because here if we look at the file right now, we cannot execute it. So we need to smart it so that we can execute it. Oh, sudo. There you go. So now if we look then we can execute the file. So this is a remote code execution. So with that script, we should be able to have a remote code execution or one command execution on the backs. Let's go and try that. Let's try to run it. So let's try to run the script and see what parameters that we need to run with it. So it tells us how to use it. We need -c and then put a command and then put a target. So we can execute arbitrary code. Let's try it. Going to do, and then we're going to do -c. First, let's see who am I, and then our target is 10 that 10 that 2 3 3. There we go. So we are able to run, to execute arbitrary code on this system. It gives us the username. So that's the user that the web server is running as Apache. So now that we know we can execute arbitrary code on the system, one of the things we can do is we can try to get a reverse shell. So let's search for we can do bash simple reverse shell, and I just go to the reverse shell cheat sheet, and then let's do bash tcp, and then we're going to copy this, let's paste it here. So here we need to change a port. Let's do 4444, and then let's change let's put our IP here. So before we execute that, we need to start a listener. So after we run the script, then we get the shell. We're able to catch a shell with the listener. So now that we have that, let's try this again. Let's run this again. Now instead of doing who am I, we're just going to copy our reverse shell. There you go. So let's try it. There you go. And we got a shell back. So now we have a shell. Let's see, let's print our working directory to see where we at. We're on HTML. Let's list to see what we have here. A couple files, web config. Let's see what's in web config. So now that we need to move laterally on the system. So one of the easiest way to move is, finding passwords. So if we can find some type of passwords in the configuration files, that'd be nice. There's nothing like this here. Let's look in the file structure of Drupal. Let's see. Default. Okay, so let's look at the settings. .php. See what we have here. It's look like the installation files, and it might contain credentials. So hopefully, let's see if we can find credentials here. there we go. So MySQL found a username and a password, and the database is Drupal. All right, so that's always good news whenever we found credentials. Let's copy this credentials. Okay, so we know that there is a database running, and it's one in MySQL, and there's also a database named Drupal. So with that information, one thing we can do is we can try, since we have a shell, we can now try to log into MySQL with the credentials that we found. Let's try that. MySQL -u Drupal user -p, and then let's copy the password. So there's no space between -p and the password, and then we can do E to execute the command. So let's do show databases. We already know that there's a Drupal database. Let's see if there's any other database. Okay, so those are normal, and we see the Drupal database here. So let's try to list. Let's list the Drupal database to see what tables. Let me paste this here. Let's see what tables that's in that database. So we're going to do use Drupal and then we're going to do show tables. Let's run this. So that will select the database Drupal, and then you're gonna show all the tables that is in that database. There we go. So we see there's a user table, flood history. Users is always good. So let's see what users let's see what users. Let's get the contents of the users table. So we do the same thing. We're just gonna do use database Drupal, and then we're going to do select store from users. So what we're doing is we're just selecting everything from the users table. Copy, paste this, and there we go. So we found there's users, boost, they will admin, and that's a hash, password hash for that users. Okay, so in order for us to crack the password, we're going to use the tool hashcat. First, we need to add the hash into a file. So let's save the hash into a file. Copy this. Let's go back here. Let's quick open another tab. So we're just gonna do. I'm going to use my mouse pad. Then let's name it hash.txt, and then we're going to save the hash. Save, and then we can close that. Okay. So now if we cut it, we should see our hash. So we know the hash mode is Drupal. So we can go. There's two ways we can do it to get the what the mode is. We can go to hashcat. We can search for hashcat mode. And let's do a search on Drupal. It's okay. We see it's 7900 for Drupal mode, or we can just do hashcat --help grep Drupal. It will go ahead and grab the Drupal mode for us right here, 7900. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to do one hashcat dash m 7900. That's the mode. And then we're going to use a file, and then we're going to use the walkU to show what list walkU.txt to crack the password. So okay, so I run this, and I run it earlier, and this is the password for the hash that we got. All right, so now we have the clear text password for the user boo boo. For the user, what am I saying? We have the password now for the user. What is the username? Boost the will admin. So now with that with the credential, we can just SSH to the oh, we can SSH to the system with the credential that we have. Okay, and the password boo boo. There we go. So now we are in, and this is our user flagged. Now that we're in, and one of the things we can do is we can check to see what commands this user can execute as root. So one of the way we can do that is we can use sudo -l and C. So here we can see that this user booster will admin can run user been snap as root with that password. So one of there's whenever there's we see something that the user can use as root, one of the best places to check is GTFO bands. So GTFO bands will tell us what we can do to get root. So we will search for the binary snap, and then it says if the binary is allowed to run as sudo, it does not drop the level population. Okay, so what it says is if we can create a file, create a package on our system, and then we can transfer that package to the remote host. And then once we have the package installed, then we can use that command on the system to get whatever we put here. So let's say if we just leave it as ID, it will tell us, hey, I'm root, for example. And let's say if we just want to get the root flag, then we can just put it here, put the comment here, say, hey, just give us the root flag. Let's try this. So one of the thing I tried this box earlier, and one of the issue I went into is I needed to install FPM. So if you have to install FPM, you can check the installation guide and install it on your system. So I already have it installed. Now let's copy this, and then let's create a new tab. Let's paste this here. So for me, I'm just going to get the root flag. We can try to get access as root, but I'm just gonna go and get the root flag set. We already know that it will be in the root directory, and its name root.txt. So let's just go and try to get the root flag. Let's copy this, and then we're going to run this on our system. We don't need this anymore. We can hand it. Yeah, we don't need this anymore. So now, just going to copy this and paste it. What's the... Why do I get the error? So let's see. So we have this here. Okay, so it created the package. So now we have to transfer this package on the system, on the remote system. So let's create a web server -m that server. Okay, and then we're just going to use curl our system IP port 8000. And then -o, and we can name this flag.snap. There you go. So now we have this here. Now we have to run this command. We're just going to change we're just gonna put the one that we created here, flag.snap, and then we're going to run this. So if this is successful, it will just go ahead and grab the wood flag and show it to us. I tried this box earlier, and whatever I tried to do to get wood, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work for me. So I just go with get the flag instead. You guys can go and try to get wood on this box, but so this didn't work. I got an error. So okay, so let's try this again. Oh, I know why. I need to put this. I forgot to put quotation mark. There we go. So pretty sure that was the problem. Let's try it again. Enter. There we go. So now we don't get the error. Remember earlier when we tried earlier, we had yes, we had permission denied. But this time it's good. So now let's transfer this again. And let's name it wood.snap. Since we already have the flag.snap, let's try this again. Okay. So now we're just going to try it again. If everything is fine, we should be able to get the flag. Like I was saying, I tried this one earlier, and I was struggling to get wood on the system. If you guys want to try, you can go ahead and try that. All you have to do is replace this with bash, I think. Bash, or you can check to see where bash is running on that system and give it a shot. But for me, we wanted the wood flag, and that's it. So we got the wood flag here. Okay, that's it for this box, guys. Thank you.